Today is a day that's kind of mixed feelings day because it's the second anniversary of George Hamilton IV leaving us for better quarters, but still leaving us. And I miss him every day. I'm sure most of you do too. It's also Hank Williams' birthday. And I was thinking about the juxtaposition of those things, and you know, most people would say that Hank Williams had as much impact on the trajectory of country music as anybody you could name. But I'd like to make a quick case that George Hamilton IV needs to be remembered in that same way. There's nobody, literally nobody, who did more to increase the international popularity of country music than George Hamilton IV. He was the first country performer to appear behind the Iron Curtain back during the Cold War in the 1970s. He did that. The U.S. State Department sent him to Moscow, and he not only sang in concert but lectured at Moscow State University. George was always incredibly knowledgeable about the roots of the music. He had his own TV show, not only in the United States for a while, but also on the BBC in Canada, and his syndicated show was on multiple countries around the world. George also understood the roots of country music as well as anybody I knew. And he was extremely instrumental in the 1960s in reconnecting country with its folk roots. He brought Canadian folk singers like Gordon Lightfoot, Joni Mitchell, and others into the country music mainstream. He was the first performer in any field to have a hit with a Joni Mitchell song, which was one of the reasons that she began to come to Nashville, and she met people like Chris Christopherson and other great songwriters. And then later on in his career, George also connected country music with its gospel roots. Now, he's been recognized for this he's a member of the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame, the Blue Ridge Music Hall of Fame. Recently, I had the privilege of being at a dedication of a bridge in his hometown of Winston-Salem. And it's now the George Hamilton IV Bridge. I And the great Bill Anderson, who of the Grand Ole Opry, who couldn't be there, sent a beautiful letter in which he said that in honoring George Hamilton IV by naming a bridge for him, because George was such a bridge builder, Bill said, Winston-Salem, you got it right. So I think all of these honors are a great thing, but I want to mention one more that I think is missing. And that's the Country Music Hall of Fame. When you consider George's resume, all that he did for country music, his 50-plus years on the Grand Ole Opry, the major hits that he had during the 60s, over 100 record albums that he released, all of those things. The question is not why should George Hamilton IV be in the Country Music Hall of Fame? It's how can he not be? So that's my pitch. Admittedly, I'm biased. He and I were friends since the 1960s, but I believe every word I just said, and I hope that the Hall of Fame folks will catch up to us one of these days. Thank you.